Welcome into Sportsmemo's betting podcast. We're talking MLB, the slate for Tuesday, April 9th, and we got our first-time podcast participant, Eddie Boron, on with us. Eddie, welcome into the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Excited to get your opinion on a couple games on tonight's slate. And just so everybody knows, Eddie Boron has been a professional bettor since 1998, and hasn't really been out there, on a bunch of podcasts or really promoting his brand and his success much in the past. But wanted to get on the podcast, and happy to have you on, Eddie. But yeah, you've been a professional bettor since 1998, living in Las Vegas. Before that, in Illinois. Have worked for a couple syndicates, well-known syndicates that will remain nameless, at least on the podcast. But yeah, man, do you just want a little synopsis of kind of what got you to this point, and where you've had most of your success in the betting world?
Well, I started out, actually, that got me going in this business was I was working at a place called Scientific Associates. I basically was an assistant there, and a guy brought in a parlay card, and I had never even, at the time, I was like 28 years old. I had never heard of sports wagering. I'd never been involved with it. He brought in a parlay card. I won. I believe it was Clemson and Florida State on it. I won the thing, and from there, I was hooked because I'd always been a massive sports fan. And if I would have known that, like the younger guys now, I would have went to school simply to do this job. But back then, the internet wasn't even involved yet. So that was it. I got started that way. And then from there, 2 years later, I quit my job to do this full time. And I've never looked back since. I can say I'm obsessed at it. I don't even know the day a lot of times. I mean, in 16-hour days, they're pretty well the norm. I mean, they're not the exception, they're the norm. And it doesn't feel like work to me. It's just what I love to do.
Oh, absolutely, Eddie, and I second that, man. If I could have went to school and for this specifically, I would have done it as well. There are some kind of similar avenues you can take, finance, almost economics, some things like that. But absolutely, man, it's hooked, and you've made a heck of a career out of it. So congratulations so far, and hopefully continue it here with Sportsmemo. You got your card up for tonight's game. You got to play a 4% MLB sharp total. This is going on tonight's card. Also, a free play, which we'll get to on the podcast right now. And we do have a podcast code for Eddie before we break down the games. It's AA149. That's his all-access package, 30-day, for just $149. That's, 55% off of the price at sportsmemo.com. So you get his 30 days, all of his plays in any sport, mostly baseball, for just $149 with the coupon code AA149. Eddie, let's get into tonight's card. We got 7:05 Eastern first pitch, 4:05 Pacific. This game is all NL East matchup, 903, 904 on the rotation numbers. We got Strasburg versus Aaron Nola, two righties going after it, a total of 8. And it looks like the home team, Phillies, laying about a minus 140 price tag, seeing it as high as minus 148 right now. Chris hanging a minus 144 as far as the Phillies favored at home. How would you look to bet Washington, Philadelphia tonight?
I'm looking at the over in this one. Both teams Washington 6-3 to the over, and Phillies 5-4 to the over. And I believe these two matched up. Last year. No. I was thinking, Strasburg's last outing, or his first outing, he was just absolutely horrible. And Nola came in, he had a really bad outing too. And I'm not sure on Nola if he's right. He's really had some problems early in the year. And when I look at it, both teams, especially Philly has had, their bats have been going this year with McCutchen added. along with Harper. I mean, their lineup is dangerous. In Washington, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say for sure. And if you can find a problem with, especially like you just said, Aaron Nola from the pitcher spot, and he carries a big name. The LSU grad had coming out of college, a first round pick. And if you can find a problem that the market doesn't see here, man, that's a great way to make money in MLB. But sorry for cutting you off, Eddie. Go right ahead, man.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Philly, they put up some runs this year, and I really like the top of their lineup. I mean, it's basically their whole lineup. I mean, there's not a lot of soft spots, going through. Their batting average isn't that good, but they have put some runs on the board. And Washington is down there. They're in 16th, but they're the same way. They haven't, they're middle of the pack. But what I basically like in this one is the pitching matchup. I believe they're going to get to them, and once they get to them, the bullpen for Washington is absolutely horrible. I mean, Washington's bullpen is ERA is 10.17, and it's last 30th in the league right now. And so I see. I mean, the total's not high. I mean, it's sitting there at 8, and you've had the sharp money hit it last night, and it brought it up, and that's basically where I stand at it. I see it going over.
Okay, like in the over, and I see that Aaron Nola, just his last time out a couple days ago, faced Washington, let up 3 home runs, only 2 strikeouts, more home runs than strikeouts to this lineup, 6 ER, man, 6 earned runs in only 3 innings, so he got rocked.
And it was
back at it.
It was very unusual. I mean, and that's when I picked up that something's not right with him, and they were basically talking about that. Through the game. I mean, he's not that type of pitcher to get rocked like that early, and he definitely did.
Yeah, man, that's an interesting one as far as what could be wrong with him. So you're going to take advantage of it on the over here. Do you normally bet totals in MLB, Eddie?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, what about sides?
I bet them from time to time. I win at them long term, but totals are basically my bread and butter in all sports, and that's basically I try to bet mostly totals because I've always had the most success with totals.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I know the syndicate you worked at before mainly concentrates on totals as well. I think it's just tougher on the odds makers. There's more events to kind of place numbers on, and it becomes more difficult to set a totals number, in my opinion, especially in certain sports, just because pace of play, things of that nature. But so you've had more success in totals than betting sides.
Yeah, a great deal. And it actually, until this year, totals was absolutely all I would do. But the market's really got tough. I mean, college basketball's market is a lot different than what it was 5 years ago. I mean, so I look 2 sides as well just to get plays. Every year it gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah, and what about the market in terms of limits? Totals, you bring up college basketball. It gets tough to get down a lot of money in college basketball totals. What have you noticed there with your experience since '98?
Oh, yeah. And I play a lot in Vegas, and that it's ridiculous. I mean, I remember if you do well, I mean, they will basically allow other people to go up, and you have to stay the same level. And the M is especially that way. I mean, I remember we were able to play a dime, and once conference started, they'd move it to 2,000, 2,500, even 3,000, and we'd have to stay a dime. So, I mean, if you do well at it, it's going to affect you. I mean, they're just going to limit what you can play, and that's everywhere here in town. And I basically try to stay here in town.
Okay.
And in town, I mean, I live in Las Vegas. That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a great place to live. I mean, how do you like living there compared to, I guess, in your earlier life, not living in Vegas?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I live in Summerlin, and it's a lot of people think of Las Vegas as a strip. Now, Summerlin is a totally different area. It's like it's a very beautiful suburb. I mean, it's well taken care of. It's manicured. Whereas, like, I'll have family, I mean, that hasn't come out here yet, and they'll think, how can you live there? I mean, it's just, they think of it as the strip. And, I live in a place where if I didn't leave this area, I wouldn't even know the strip existed. It's just like a small town. So,
oh yeah. Anytime I go out there and I visit, friends or our work associates in Summerlin, man, it's a nice place. But especially, with the economy doing so well in Vegas, the town doing so well, it's getting a little pricey, huh, Eddie?
oh yeah. I mean, when we moved here, it was the housing crash had just taken place, so we got lucky, and we got our house at the low end, and it's gone up just incredible. I mean, the house is worth 2 times more now. So I mean, and the people, it was unfortunate when it hit, but it was fortunate for us when we came in, and so we got a nice area, and now it's if we couldn't live here probably, back right now, basically, if you had to come in and buy a house now, I mean, they're just way overpriced in this area.
Yeah, for sure, in Summerlin, but it's a nice area, and if you're ever in Vegas, I recommend taking a day, off the Strip. I love Red Rock there in Summerlin. It's or near Summerlin.
Definitely,
it's my favorite sports book, even including the sports books on the Strip. Red Rock's my favorite. What's your favorite sports book, Eddie?
I like Red Rock, and I always go over the coast is over on off Rampart, and Rampart Casino's down there, which is the sister of South Point. So, you have 3 good books right in this area. You have, they just built a baseball stadium for the AAA team that's right down there by Red Rock. They've got a huge mall they built. I mean, like you said, this area is just growing leaps and bounds. The Knights practice right down the road. I mean, it's really growing huge.
Yeah, man. Vegas is great place to visit, and definitely recommend one day off the Strip if you are visiting. But Eddie, let's get back into the baseball. We got one game left. A little bit later, 7:45 Eastern, first pitch. This one, the Dodgers versus the Cardinals in St. Louis. Looks like the Dodgers minus 125-ish away favorites, 8.5 being the total. We got Stripling, we got Hudson. How'd you look to bet the Dodgers and Cardinals tonight, Eddie?
I like the Dodgers again. I had the Dodgers last night, and unfortunately, you got hurt right in the second inning, 2 outs to go. And they went through once you have to go that long with a bullpen, it's never good. And it was just too much bullpen. They ended up losing 4-3. Tonight, the Dodgers they are so red hot right now. And in baseball, I like to be on the hot side. I mean, I like to be proactive and ride the streak. Now, a lot of sharps in that, they try to bust the streak. And, last night they were on the Cardinals, and they were also, I had Seattle last night too, and, they were on Kansas City. So a lot of times I talk a lot of sharp action, but in baseball, a lot of times I'm against it because I don't really agree with sometimes when you're trying to break a streak of teams that are hot and also, they're good. I mean, if the price is reasonable, I don't know why you're playing against it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like to ride the streaks as well, Eddie. I don't like to pick a team that's, lost 4 straight and, this is the game they're going to win. I find that a tough obstacle. I mean, we were just talking about sports betting. I was in the finance industry before coming into the sports betting industry, and I view it the same way as the stock market. If a stock is falling, wait for it to bounce back a little bit. Don't try to catch a falling knife, the saying is. And same thing, in baseball. If a team's lost 4 straight, I'm likely not going to bet on them on that 5th game. Is that how you view it?
Definitely. Now, other sports, this baseball, 165 games. It's streaky. Teams go through streaks. The worst teams can win 7 in a row. And, I'm not going to, like you said in the stock market, be trying to pick the bottom. Because I'd prefer to ride that streak, 7 games, not keep trying to pick against when they're finally going to lose. And I've had success doing that. And, the market, though, a lot of times totally disagrees with that. And, I'm not into the algorithms. That was past my time, or before my time, or no, past my time. But, I have a couple, I've lived here a long time, so I have some connections where I can get, the numbers. But for baseball, I just don't agree with a lot of them. Now basketball and that, I always went to CLV, and that's in every sport but baseball. But baseball, I market cap too, and I look at the Don Best screen all day. And I couldn't for the life of me tell you, why they're hitting a certain play. A lot of times it just makes no sense to me, but it's the algorithms come out that way for them, and that's just the way it goes. But being on their side, a lot of times I just don't see it.
Well, good stuff, Eddie. And we're talking with Eddie Boron on Twitter at Eddie Boron, professional bettor since 1998. First time on the podcast with Sportsmemo, so happy to have you, Eddie. And we do have the podcast coupon code. AA149 is the coupon code, and that gives you 30-day all access with Eddie Boron for just $149. That's more than 50% off the price at sportsmemo.com. So a great access here to a good handicapper in Eddie Boron. AA149 for his 30-day all access, normally priced at $325, just $149 with the coupon code AA149. Eddie, good podcast, nice breakdown on the games, Vegas lifestyle, the whole bit. Anything else you want to throw out before we shut this down?
No, that'll do it. It was enough doing my first podcast, a little nervous, and well,
you did
just
great,
a little
man.
Nervous.
No worries. And you did good. I know you concentrate on the back end as far as placing the bets and your pass, but yeah, man, happy to have you on, and look forward to having you on more so, and hopefully you go on a big streak here, man, and the guys that jump on your 30-day all access pass would be happy to hear you on the podcast going forward, Eddie.
Yeah, I was doing them when I'm trying to do the breakdown with you. I obviously I don't know stuff by heart, so I'm trying to turn a page, and the page isn't turning. so it was quite difficult.
Well, that's good stuff, man, and you gave out good information. So just in recap, you got the Washington-Philadelphia game and the LA Dodgers-St. Louis Cardinals game. As far as a free play for the podcast, Eddie, which game would you say is the free play for the podcast that you want to go on record for?
I want to go with the Dodgers again tonight.
Okay, so LA Dodgers on the money line?
Yes.
Okay, and it looks like the low water mark is minus 123. LA Dodgers tonight over the St. Louis Cardinals for the free play on the podcast. We also got the coupon code AA149 for $149 for his 30-day all access with Eddie Boron, more than 50% off with the coupon code AA149, and he has his MLB sharp total for Tuesday posted on sportsmemo.com. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Best of luck with your bets. We'll be talking tomorrow soccer action with Nick Borman.